Hey guys, so someone contacted me and asked me, they sent me this code. So basically, the code is saying that from this given data up here, that is from this given data up here, you should output Patrick, St. Patrick's Primary School, 2020, and handwriting. All these things they asked us to print out have been listed within here, so we're going to have to access them. So we have arrays, we have lists, we have objects. All of them are enclosed within one another, so it's like nested in more ways than one. So accessing this is just, when you're accessing, it's just going to be the exact same way you access every kind of data normally. Or either now, just take it as if you have a big box. In order to get the box that's inside that box, you have to open up the other box. So let's print Patrick. Okay, so to get Patrick, the first thing we'll do is obviously call our console.log. Now, the main array that everything is enclosed within is called school. So we're going to call school. So I've opened up our first box. Okay. Now, if you notice in school, so this we have two objects inside the school. Those are the things that are inside school. This is the first object because this is where our comma ends, and this is the second object. So these are the two things that are enclosed in school. So let's comment these sections out. So you wait to pick them out. So we have this is the ID of this one is going to be 0. Then from here, the ID of this one is going to be 1. So those are the two containers we have inside um the array. Now, while we printing first Patrick, so Patrick is inside ID 0. So that's what we're going to call. We're going to call the first ID. So when you're accessing arrays, is you're using m square brackets to print it out. So we'll just call the ID 0. Next, now inside this first array, so inside the array we have two objects. Within this first object, we have a list that we have a key, and the value for that key is called list. Sorry, the value for the key is a list, and um that list is where the Patrick is enclosed. So we're just, since this one when you're accessing objects, you don't need to call this one is not ID 0, this is not 1, this one is not 2. No, when you're calling, the reason why we have key and value, so if you want to access a value, you call the key. So we're going to call the key that we want to access, which in this case is called student's name. Okay, but when we're now calling it, usually if you just call this student's name like this, it's going to give us the, so if we call student's name like this and we print it, let's print it from here. So let's save this and run it. I'm using Notepad Plus. I've never run JavaScript on Notepad Plus. Actually, I've never really run anything on Notepad Plus. Oh, I have to set up everything by myself. Now let's open my console. Let me run for my console. Sorry, this is just stress. So where is this file saved? User. Sorry, I'm just trying to change my directory. Mm. Okay, so we're going to do running JavaScript node, then the name of your file test.js. So you can see, so here it printed out. Ooh, it printed out. Oh no, I changed. Okay, you guys are commenting on my last laptop theme. I changed my laptop theme again to Pac-Man. I don't know if you have noticed. So my minimize and all these things is Pac-Man. I don't really like it. Okay, so well, what was I? So we have called this key student name and he printed out the complete list. But we don't want all the list. We want only Patrick. So Patrick, the ID of Patrick is 1. So that's just what we're going to do. Just pass inside the square brace 1, and we'll save it. And now let's run our program again. And now we have gotten Patrick, so we have taken the first one out. Perfect. Now it's the same method we're going to be using. So now we want to access St. Patrick's Primary School. Where's my Saint Patrick's. You know, shit. Let me just copy it. Saint Patrick's Primary School. Okay. Now let's call our console.log firstly. Okay. Now we're going to call the array we want to access from, which is school. And St. Patrick is still inside, is still within this first object. So the ID we're passing is going to be zeros. So the first few lines similar to the last. And now this St. Patrick, you can see the key is school, and it's just a string that was passed into it. So it's not like we're accessing within the string. So it's just going to be dots. We'll call the string school. So this one is pretty much straightforward. So let's save it and let's run it. Perfect. Next, we want to access this 2020. Okay. Um so console.log. I don't like this notepad plus I don't know who asked me to use it. Console.log. Just it's so annoying. Um so we're going to call the array school. Now let's find out which, sorry, why am I using queries? Let's find out where it's enclosed. So we're looking for 2020. So 2020 is enclosed in this second one. It's over here. So we're going to call it, we're just going to call one. Next, we want to access, so here we have another array that has another set of objects. So this array is called scores. So that is the array we're going to access now. Student scores. I think this is it. This should be it. Student scores. Yes. Okay, and then within the student scores, so we have two inputs within student score. We have our first object here, and we have our second object here. So 2020 is in the second object. So that is the ID is one. So we're going to access one. This may, and finally we're going to call, because this is key, this value, this key, this value. So we're just going to we're just going to call the key for that one. That is term three. Beautiful. Let's save it and run it. And finally, the last thing we want to print out is handwriting. So console.log, um, we're going to call the school first, obviously. Now the handwriting is still enclosed inside the second element of the school.log, which is the ID one. And handwriting is under, see handwriting here, so it's under subject. So we're going to call subject. So subject is the key here. So there is subject. But the value for this subject is a collection of lists. So sorry, it's a list. So we want to access 0, 1, 2. So we're accessing this the third element there. So you can just save it and we can run it. And that is how you do that. So if you have any other questions or any other problem you were going by and solving that you'd like me to answer, feel free to ask me. You can ask me here on TikTok. If you check my TikTok bio, I have a form there. You can ask me over there, or you can head over to my Instagram, my YouTube. I would always answer any questions I see. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video and share it, and I'll see you guys this evening by 11 p.m. Bye guys.